Chapter 14 Guna, Traya, Vibhag Yog. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, welcome to one more chapter on FOV Sense, and we pray that whatever we recite and say, it triggers a part of your soul. Now take a deep breath, relax, and with a smile on your face, think about the picture of Sri Krishna. The bamboo flute. Can you see that in your imagination? It is such a beautiful metaphor associated with Krishna. None of us can imagine Sri Krishna without his flute and that peacock feather. That simple flute has a deep philosophical meaning, and you could say that it represents the essence of Gita. Now, bamboo is matter, and the hollowness inside it is the spirit. Just as personalities are made up, each one of us is made up of matter and spirit. Our spirit cannot be defined or explained, but you, me, we all feel its existence. The hollow bamboo, it represents the hollowness of our existence. The 7 apertures of the flute represents the 5 sense organs and mind and intellect, which fills the environment with melodious music if played well by a person who has practiced it well over years. Similarly, in our life too, if we are in rhythm with our environment by the perfect use of our mind, intellect, and sense organs, our life will be filled with melody. Otherwise, there'll only be cacophony. If we all want to learn to live our life well by understanding the Bhagavad Gita, we need to practice it regularly in small portions. Then only life will be melodious. The Bhagavad Gita does not prescribe how to live a life without problems. If you're looking for that, I'm sorry, you will never find an answer. But if you want a prescription to maintain your equanimity and you face your problems with courage, patience and conviction, then the Bhagavad Gita answers all your questions. The Bhagavad Gita fulfills your quest for self-knowledge, personal growth and enlightenment, the pursuit of wisdom, the cultivation of the questioning spirit, and the need to find balance and moderation like the flute in Krishna's hands. What does chapter 14 explain? Chapter 14 explains the origin of the Brahman, the knowledge of the 3 cosmic qualities or gunas, namely sattva, rajas and tamas. The combination of the 3 gunas, the effect of the 3 gunas, how to transcend from the 3 gunas to finally become one with the Brahman. The knowledge of these 3 gunas, which hold the entire universe and all creatures under their sway, is of vital importance to each and every one for progress and happiness in life. Without this knowledge, one will be forever bound by sorrow. In this knowledge, we have the secret of success in worldly life as well as in spiritual life. Therefore, one should acquire this precious knowledge. The aspirant should know the symptoms and signs of their presence in his personality and acquire a knowledge of their subtle workings. Then only can he maintain an unhampered and smooth progress in all activities of his life, both secular as well as spiritual. Now, Krishna teaches us this important subject in this discourse from the 9th to the 18th verse. He declares that one who rises beyond all 3 gunas through spiritual practice becomes free from birth, death, old age, and sorrow, and enjoys immortality. Rahim, Shyam, and Joseph were very close friends in school days and during college too. Unfortunately, in their final year of college, they had some misunderstanding and they parted in 3 different directions from college with bitterness in their heart for each other. After 15 long years, Shyam contacted Rahim and Joseph and wanted all 3 to meet personally to melt the misunderstanding and re-establish the friendship. Now Rahim agreed, but Joseph, he refused to meet. When Shyam met Rahim, he wept and said that over the years, every message of Rahim sent on important occasions was the reason he decided to meet, and he realized his foolishness in allowing ego and misunderstanding to take over the beauty of the friendship. Now Shyam asked Rahim if he did not feel insulted when year after year his messages to Shyam and Joseph were unanswered and ignored. Rahim replied that over the years he has learned to remain indifferent to honor and disgrace and tries to practice it as best as possible. He said, since he always felt connected to Shyam and Joseph, he wanted to keep sending positive vibrations to both of them without any attachment or any expectation in return. In short, one could say someone like Rahim was practicing the Bhagavad Gita, so he was at peace with himself and with all around him. In reply to a question from Arjuna, Krishna describes the marks of one who has risen above the three gunas. He states that if one constantly worships him and with exclusive devotion, one will attain the highest divine experience and supreme peace and divine blessings. Like Rahim, people see the gunas at play in this world but do not get disturbed and stay equipoised. They see the objects of the gunas displaying in situations, objects and persons. They comprehend that everything is under the Supreme God's control, so they are unaffected by any worldly situation. They do not feel miserable in adversities or jubilant in triumph, and without wavering, maintain that calmness in mind and spirit. Krishna's part of the dialogue reaffirms the qualities of a person who has found enlightenment and comes to understand the true nature of the self. Krishna gives more details about the nature of the three gunas. Attachment to any of the gunas will hold a person back, keeping them in the cycle of death and rebirth. However, the gunas of Rajas and Tamas are particularly detrimental to a person's process of enlightenment. Although Sattva seems desirable, when it is held as an attachment, it can keep one bound. For example, over-attachment to the pursuit of knowledge or joy can keep a person embodied. Conversely, Sattva without attachments can help a person leave the cycle of death and rebirth. Krishna names Sattva as the ruling trait of a person who is on the path of understanding and knowledge. The light of knowledge shines forth and through all gates of the body in these people. This is one way such a person can be recognized and set apart from those still ruled primarily by Rajas or Tamas. Many things can affect the rebirth of a person. The ruling guna at the time of death will determine the situation a person will experience when reborn into the next life. Now, those who die while ruled by Rajas are born to people who are attached to action. Those who die while ruled by Tamas are born to people who are deluded. This distinction could imply that a person who has led a good life could be reborn into a poor incarnation if they die in a state of anger. Although a person is ruled primarily by one guna or another, it is quite possible that a person could move back and forth between secondary gunas over the course of a lifetime. It is not possible for a person to operate only from Sattva guna throughout their life. We live in a world where we are blessed with an intellect that can decide the proportion of the gunas in our interaction with the world. Just as ornaments cannot be made only with pure gold, and some amount of copper has to be added to it for gold to be made into an ornament that can be worn. Similarly, to operate in this world, we must have the combination of three gunas, but the proportions can be deceived by us. Thank you so much for listening to us on FOV Sense. Feel free to comment in on what you feel about the chapter and to visit any of the previous chapters. Feel free to subscribe to our channel and go through our playlist Gems from the Gita.